Here is That Which Is with John Roger. That Which Is presented by MSIA, the Movement of Spiritual Inner Awareness, a movement dedicated to awakening the spiritual heart within each of us. John Roger is the founder and spiritual advisor of MSIA, the founder and president of the Institute for Individual and World Peace, founder of the Heartfelt Foundation, and other organizations dedicated to improving people's lives. John Roger is a best-selling author, and he has been teaching and conducting seminars for many years. Right after John Roger speaks, we'll tell you how you can obtain more information about MSIA.
Someone asked me once, they said, well, do you believe in God? And I said, no. They said, you don't? And I said, no, belief means there's no knowledge inside of you, so you have to have a belief. They said, oh. Well, what do you know about God? And I said, I can go on for a long time about that, because all I have to do is look at the next person, and I can know an awful lot about God. And all I have to do is look at what a person does, and I can know an awful lot about God, because I see it as God doing all of that in us to some degree or another. The problem is sometimes we start changing that's going on to that we want to go on. And in that process of changing it, we'll get ourselves caught up. Now, not the true self that just really is that, but the self that we've portrayed to the world. The one where we've told people, oh, I do this and this and this, and you don't. That's called being guilty of an inexactitude, more commonly called a lie. But then, who knows if they're just not being a little premature in claiming what's going to be theirs. If we only wait for empirical results will be the things we can see obviously that everyone else can see. For instance, maybe the ring I'm holding is empirical evidence of the ring. But if I take it off, I may still claim the ring even though it's not present. I don't see it. I can still claim it. But to claim it, I've got to go out and grab it and put it where it fits, and then I have it. Claiming it prior to the existence of it is often called exaggeration. But there's nothing wrong with that, because another word for exaggerating is daring to dream, daring to explore. A lot of people in our country say, no more exploring. It was okay when Columbus found the United States. That's enough exploration. Now that we're here, let's stop. But in the last few years, the great exploration has come more and more present, and that is the exploration of you traveling inside of the maze of consciousness that you've made yourself up to be. To come to that place of simplicity, which you may find to be a fire or a seed or a vacuum, or it may just be that which is, and when you see it, you'll say, oh, that's it. And then try to explain that to somebody else. If your experience is a hallucination and psychotic and wacko, it's still yours. It's when you fight it and try to get rid of it that you have the problem. There is a real classic statement that was made a long time ago by a behavioral psychologist. Not that I'm a behavioral psychologist, but I thought it seemed to fit true in my life the way I see it. And it goes something like this, and I'm going to change it a little bit. There's a significance that you experience this hallucination rather than this hallucination. There's a significance why you're having the experience you're having now rather than some other experience. There's a significance that you dream what you dream rather than something else. Now, we're not trying to say any of that's real or more valid than anything else, but there is a significance in that. If we can ride inside of us to that place that is significantly producing that, we have arrived to a place of creation, a place of reflection, a place of activity, of modification. And that's all rooted back in deep at the very base of our thought. And so we go beyond the thought into the energy field that contains the thought. And then we have each person who then takes the words of life that they've grown up with and takes those words to look at the expression of their life, what their life has been or not been. And then take that word and connect it to the energy that goes beyond the thought, down to the core of energy, and tie it and connect it together through experiencing that. And when that energy seems to drop back down into that deep void, then they can speak the word of energy and bring it forward. Now, there's a pitfall in this. Because if you speak the word of energy and bring it forward and don't act upon it, you start killing it the way it was killed in the beginning. So to just call forward energy and energy words as a show or as a test or as a check is a waste of time and a destructive process. Many people say, well, I want to call forward God. And I say, what for? I say, I don't know, just to see if he's there. I say, don't waste his time. People often have come to me and they say, well, I just want to check to see if you can do that. I said, don't waste my time. If there's a specific reason for this and you want this to grow, to learn, I'll sit down and take a lot of time with you. And if you're being curious, get out of line, because there's other people that aren't curious, who are past the curiosity stage and into the living reality stage and are saying, let's go have this now so I can get on with my life. There's been a whole lot of curiosity in the world. And I don't want to say that's not valuable. But most of the time, and maybe these younger people here, I guess I could call you children, but I'm not too sure that's true except as a definition. Probably what got you in trouble was your curiosity. You started exploring around trying to find out what it was. And I know years ago, a lot of us found out that we were the byproduct of curiosity. And then somebody said that our parents got in trouble, and here we are. I don't want to put curiosity down. I just like to put it in its correct place. Instead of being curious, you might try to find out what you're doing in your life and what you want more of and how to go about producing that and how to share it with other people in such a way that they're glad that you walked into their life. In such a way that a child can look up at his mom and say, that's my mother. Or look up at the father and say, that's my dad. A lot of them look up now and say, And the mother looks and says, it can't be my kid. I mean, no, there must be some mistake in the genes someplace. No mistake, because these youngsters, and I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad. You are our testers and our provers. You're going to test us until we could hardly stand it, then prove to us that we can. And let me tell you, you're not a discipline problem.